Hey, my Pilates people, welcome to my channel, Connect and Move. My name is Jessica. Today I have for you a beginner-friendly classic reformer session. Now, just because it's beginner-friendly does not mean that this is gonna be an easy, feel-good flow. This is 100% gonna be full body, and there is going to be work in here. Now, we will still be getting in some good stretches, some good mobility work, but you're gonna feel things today for sure. So a couple things that you're gonna need is your box and some type of maple or dowel rod, whatever you wanna call it. So grab those two things. For spring settings, I have on 4 springs. So for my balanced body, that is 2 reds and 2 lights. Sorry, 2 reds, a blue and a yellow. For everybody else, that is 2 mediums and 2 light springs. Foot bar is up for footwork. My headrest is up in my favorite position. Now, before we get started with this session, I do have a special request for you guys. If you would please like this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It does help me out, and it does help bring good Pilates for those of you who are searching for it. So I appreciate that. Once you have all of your things, let's go ahead and lie back and we'll get started. So as always, make sure that you're centered on your carriage. Turn your head from right to left. Just check the spacing on the sides of your body, the sides of your face, and the apparatus, okay? So just rest your feet anywhere on the foot bar. It doesn't matter. And then I want you to take your hands onto your hips here, just on the side of your hips. And just let your elbows fall out to the sides. And then just let yourself relax for a moment. Just let yourself kind of sink heavy. Don't worry about being in a perfect posture here. And just let your spine settle where it wants to. And as you're breathing here, as you're taking those big inhales, can you start to send your breath to the back ribs and even the side ribs? And then as you exhale, just let your abdomen, let your belly just fall down. And maybe even allow the ribs to sink into the mat. Take another big breath in, east and west and into those back ribs. And then as you exhale, just let the belly fall down. Maybe you start to feel your abdomen kick on a little bit. Take another big breath in. And then on this exhale, I want you to tilt your pelvis back to where you feel more of your low back into the mat. It's gonna feel like your pubic bone is rocking back towards your navel. And then inhale, rock the pelvis away and allow the back to arch. So it kind of feels like we're sticking the booty out, we're letting the ribs flare. And then on your exhale, sink the belly, sink the ribs, tilt your pelvis back. So it almost feels like your hip points are pulling away from your hands. And then as you inhale, rock the pelvis away, your hips kind of lift up into your hands. Exhale, rock the pelvis back. Feel the ribs sink heavy. And then inhale, we rock the pelvis away, let the back arch. Okay, now I want you to find somewhere in the center here. So ideally your pelvis is level and your ribs are weighted into the mat. Go ahead and reach the arms up to the sky. So palms are facing in, and I want you to create as much space between your fingertips and your chest as you can, and then maybe you could sink the ribs down a little bit heavier. So let's go ahead and slide down onto your toes. You're in hip socket distance apart here. I want you to hold the shape of your spine and then go ahead and press the carriage out and pause here. Do you still have the shape of your spine? Does the mat still feel the same as when the carriage was in? And then go ahead and bring it all the way in. Let's try that again, right? Notice the connection of your back to the mat. Keep it just like that as we press the carriage out and then resist all the way back in. So as you're going out and in, it should just feel like those fingertips are scraping across the ceiling. And again, the connection of the mat to your back doesn't change, or at least that's what we're trying for. Let's just do one more here. Go ahead and press the carriage out and hold here. Maybe you relax the neck a little bit more, maybe the chest softens. And then could you lower your arms down, keeping that same connection of back to mat? And then go ahead and bend the knees, bring the carriage in. A few more times like this. If you can hold the stability through your spine, could you Press your palms into the mat and just see if that changes things. Let's do 2. And last one, bring the carriage all the way in. Let's come up onto your arches. Let's go legs zipped up together as much as you possibly can. Now, I want you to push your heels under the foot bar so it feels like we're kind of flexing the feet. Now, leave your heels reaching under the foot bar and now curl your toes over. Keep the legs hugging together. Press the carriage out. And then pull yourself home. So it should feel like the inner edges of your heels are reaching under and the big toes are reaching over in opposition. Still keeping the hug of the legs together. I feel like once we get the feet situated, the knees start to want to come apart. And then just check back in with your spine. That mat should feel the same when the carriage is out and also when the carriage is in. So even if you're confused on neutral and imprint and what my spine should be doing, let's just work on holding yourself stable, and then you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty stuff later on. So let's do 3 and 2 and last one. Go ahead and drag it all the way home. Okay, let's come up onto your heels. Still legs zipped up together if you can. The feet are flexed here. So just think of the toes looking up to the sky, and then go ahead and press it out and then resist to come home. And if the resist to come home cue doesn't make sense, just think of, right, just staying connected to your muscles as you come home, right? We're not just like letting the carriage bang in and relaxing on the in. Imagine you were descending down into a squat. You're not letting yourself fall down there. Let's just do 3 and 2 and last one. Go ahead and bring it all the way in. Okay, let's slide down onto your toes. Still hip socket distance apart. Go ahead and press the carriage all the way out and hold here. Place your hands onto your hips, kind of like how we did in the beginning, and just check to see, okay, where am I at? Does the mat still feel the same? All the things. And now lower your right heel under as your left knee bends. And then lift back up into high heels as your left heel lowers, your right knee bends. And then slowly keep switching. And just notice if there's any shimmy shaking in your pelvis. In your pelvis, your belly, whatever. There's gonna be a little bit of movement just because tissue has to move around. But just notice if the bones are shifting, right? We're trying to hold these things stable while the legs are moving. And if you're like, okay, I think I got this, maybe you go a little bit faster. You are intentionally pushing the heel under as the other one lifts. So we're not, again, just dropping into the springs. We are flexing to push the heel under. Let's do 3 and 3 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 1. Lift the heels, bend the knees, bring the carriage all the way in. All right, let's drop your headrest all the way down. Let's inch away from the blocks a little bit here. Let's place your heels on about shoulder width distance apart. So a nice healthy distance. Okay, so equal weight going down between your right and your left here. Arms are weighted into the mat. Take a big breath in. And then on your exhale, tilt your pelvis back. Find your imprint first. Find that like tucked imprint. And then start to roll your hips up, finding your bottom. Lift your hips up to your angle today and just pause here and just let the chest relax a little bit. Maybe you exhale here at the top. Maybe your pubic bone lifts up a little bit higher. And then think of your torso coming down before your hips as you roll all the way down, down, down. Think of sending your hips past the foot bar as you articulate all the way down. Let's do that again. Pelvis tilts back. Butt creases lift, lift, lift. Your chest resists as the hips go up, and just pause. Maybe you turn your head from right to left a little bit, just check the tension there. And then again, torso comes down before your hips. You're being steamrolled all the way down, down, down. Okay, so now let's come down. Bring your feet onto your platform here. So just find a place where you feel supported. You're neither on your heels nor your toes. You're somewhere in the center of your foot, in hip socket distance apart. So I want you to stretch your arms like you're reaching towards your knees to the point where it's just the tip of your fingers touching your thighs. Okay, you're gonna keep this reach. It's okay if your shoulders are rounded off the mat, totally fine. Okay, so from here, go ahead and roll your hips up into bridge. Lift, 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 lift. You're trying to connect the front of your body to your arms, all while your arms are gently pressing down into your thighs, your stomach, your hips. And then start to roll your spine down, kind of resisting the hips from dropping right away, all the way down, down, down to that start position. Let's do that again. Pelvis tilts back, find your butt cheeks, roll your hips up. Try to connect as much of the front of your body to your arms. So really try to take away those spaces that you might be feeling. And then from here, chest falls down first, then your ribs, then your belly, then your back. Come all the way down, 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 down. All right, let's do that one more time. Roll your hips up, up, up. And just pause. There's a little nod to your chin. Keep the reach out through your fingertips. Now, without letting your left hip lose connection to your left arm, let your right hip drop down and then lift it back up. Let your left hip drop down just a little bit and then back up. It is so tiny because the goal is not the dropping of the hip. It's can you keep the other side connected to the arm as the other side drops down. Lots of others, lots of rights and lefts here. Oh yeah, no shifting in the feet. Thighs should still be parallel here. Let's do 3 and 2. And last one, find center. And then roll down through your spine, sending the hips away from your ribs, away from your ribs. Awesome, okay. Go ahead and just bring your knees into your chest and just kind of rock from side to side, massaging that low back. Okay, so now I want you to make sure that you can grab onto the edge of the mat. So we might have to inch down a little bit more here and make sure you can grab all 10 fingers around the edge here. Okay, so let's just rest your feet on the foot bar here. Anywhere is fine. Okay, so I'm gonna keep holding on to the edge of the mat. From here, can you pick your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat? So I want you to try to keep your tailbone heavy. So here, I don't want you to tuck, all right? So think of almost sticking your booty out, but press your low back into the mat. Now, can you use your upper body to maybe help you lift your chest up a little bit higher and then just lower all the way back down? Okay, let's do that again. We curl our head, neck, and shoulders up. Maybe you even press your elbows into the mat to try and curl up a little bit higher. Stay looking down at your low belly and then lower all the way down, down, down. All right, so right here, keep your head down. I want you to find that neutral-ish pelvis position. All that means is just there's a little space in the small of your back. Now, without shifting your pelvis a whole lot, could you now sink the back into the mat? So now we take away that space in your low back. Okay, so keep your low back imprinted into the mat. Go ahead and curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and hold here. Could you now bring one leg up into tabletop? Bring the other leg up to meet it. All right. Stretch your right leg out as your left knee draws into your left ear. And then we switch. Right knee pulls into the ear, into the ear, into the ear, and switch. Continue to switch, trying to limit any shifting in your torso. And you're trying to lift up even higher through the chest
as your legs switch. I know I said no shifting, but the only shifting that's gonna happen is you curling up a little bit higher for 3 and 2 and 1. Bring both knees in, place your feet down and lower all the way down. Maybe just shake your head from right to left. Okay, so now we're gonna do another one here, maybe 2 more. If you do not need to hold on, right, maybe we don't hold on, but let's start by holding on. All right, so feet on the foot bar. Curl your head, neck, and shoulders up. Booty is heavy. Go ahead and bring your knees in towards your ears. We're in a little froggy position, heels together, toes apart. Stretch the legs away from your body. Hold here. Get your low back heavy into the mat. Maybe lift your chest up a little bit higher. And now do not let your chest lower down. Pull the knees in, and then stretch the legs out. Pull the knees into your ears. Don't let the chest fall down. Don't let the chest fall down. And then stretch the legs out. One more time here, I promise. Pull the knees into the ears. Stretch the legs out. Hold here. Find more parallel. Left leg floats up. Right leg lowers down. And scissor switch. Again, low back is into the mat, but your chest is lifted. So we're trying to bend at the spine for 3, 2, 1. Lower everything all the way down. Did we feel stomach? I hope. Okay, so inch away, back up to the blocks. Stretch your legs out over the foot bar. They can be bent, totally fine, but I do want you to press your legs down into the foot bar. Reach your arms up to the sky, take a big breath in. On your exhale, we're gonna roll up, grab onto your legs if you need. Okay, legs are gonna swivel off to the side. And then let's do a light and a medium for your arms and straps. So for balanced body, I have a red and a blue spring. Your headrest can come back up if you like it up. All right, so let's lie back down. Okay, so rest your feet on the foot bar to start. Let's reach back for your short loops. If you need to loosen your tension, you can always take them to the long loops. Now wrap your fists around. Punch your fists up to the sky. So your fists right now are just over your shoulders. Your collarbone is broad. The sides of your neck are long. Now, just like we did in the beginning, can you create as much space between your fists and your chest as you can so those ribs really sink heavy? Now, can you sink the whole back into the mat with as little tuck of your pelvis? All right, so keep that. Float your right leg up into tabletop. Float your left leg up into tabletop and pause. Can you connect the entire spine, the entire center part of your back to the mat, with the exception of the neck, of course? And hold. I'm already shaking, all right? Now, hold that shape of your spine, lower the arms down, and then float the arms back up. So if when your arms come all the way down, you feel like you lose the connection of the back to the mat, then don't go all the way down. That's okay. It's something to work on. Couple more here. The legs are super glued together. They're not moving. Arms come down to wherever you can. Feel like your elbows are spiraling in towards one another, and now bend the elbows and then straighten the arms. So elbows stay hugged in tight to your body. Nothing else moves. If you want to feel more stomach, you could stretch your legs a little bit further away, but you better keep those low ribs super glued to the mat for 3 and 2. And last one, hold out here with straight arms, little circles. The circles are so small, the carriage doesn't even move. You're making the arms so long that the sides of your neck lengthen a little bit more for 2 and 1, and hold and reverse your circles. There's a little bit more reach out through your first and second knuckles for 3, 2, 1.
All right, flip your palms facing in. We got this. Do not let those shoulders creep up any more into your ears. Arms float out to the sides, and then hug the arms in. Open the arms out wide. Exhale, hug the arms in. Think of your knuckles reaching away from your center as you do this. If you need a little reprieve for your back, just bring your knees in closer to your chest, no worries. As the arms go out, think of creating space in your neckline, space in your back. Are we feeling things yet? I hope. You've got one more. Hug the arms in, flip your palms facing down, float the arms up, lower the feet down. Awesome work. All right, let's hang up the straps. Let's now roll you up again. We're gonna switch it now to one medium spring. So take off that light spring that you had. And now we're gonna scoot back and sit up against the shoulder blocks. So make sure that you can feel the shoulder blocks, but you're not like jammed up into them. Legs are out in front of you. Hook your thumbs around the long loops. So it's if you just reached back, picked the straps up with your thumbs. Now, legs are zipped up together. You're gonna try your best to get the legs straight. But if that just feels like an impossible task, have them slightly bent, no worries. Now, your fists are kind of up at your nipple height here, and we're sitting up tall. All right, so elbows are hugged in. Now, think of that kind of long imprint that we were playing around when you had your legs in tabletop. So feel like those ribs are drawing into the mat. Find that here, okay? Now, go ahead and just straighten the arms out and hold. Just check your wrists and see that they're straight. So your knuckles, those first and second knuckles should be in line with your wrists, in line with your forearm. Bend the elbows back in. Legs shoot out, arms shoot out long. Pause here. Create as much space between your fists and your chest. Feel that kind of rib connection to the mat that we felt on our back, and then bend the elbows back in. A lot of times when we sit up tall, we go into like extension and we puff up the back, which is not always a bad thing. But here, I want you to find a more of a flat back, that long imprint. Now, arms are gonna come out and hold here, okay? Keep your arms at shoulder height. And now I want you to round forward, stretch forward, keep pushing into the straps, round forward, round forward. And now don't let the carriage move as you stack your spine up tall. So now we find more of a flat back as we come up. As the elbows bend back in, we come back to that start position. So let's do that again, all right? We punch the arms out to about shoulder height. Round forward. As you round forward, the carriage moves. Round forward, stretch forward, and now the carriage doesn't move as we articulate into a flat back. Find that broad collarbone and space on the sides of your neck. As the elbows bend back in, we kind of lean back to that start position. Let's do that again. Anybody feeling your legs here? Arms reach out. As we round forward, we lean forward. Keep lifting the ribs off of your thighs. And then we stack the spine up tall, 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 and then bend the elbows back in, back to that start position. All right, now let's flex the feet. So pinky toes are pulling back just as much as your big toes. Press your fists into the mat. And now we round forward as we shave the mat. So reach your fists forward and pause. So now the only difference is now my fists are reaching below my legs, or at least that's what I'm trying to go for, and hold here. Deepen the opposition between fists and your ribs. And now lift the arms up just to shoulder height, just like we just did. Don't let the carriage move. Stack your spine up tall to that flat back, and then bend the elbows back in to the start position. Fists into the mat. You got this. We round up and over, up and over. Reach below your feet. Can you lift the heels up a little bit higher? There's the stretch. Arms lift up to shoulder height. Carriage doesn't move. We stack the spine up tall, 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 tall. Bend the elbows back in. Let's do two more because they're so good. Fists into the mat.
We round up and over. Reach the fists below the springs, below the feet. Lift the ribs up off the thighs. Arms come up to shoulder height. Don't let the carriage move. We stack up tall, 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 tall. Bends the elbows back in. Wow, it's a lot of work. All right, last one. Round up and over. Lift the belly off of your thighs. Stretch further forward, further forward. Arms lift to shoulder height. We stack up tall, tall, tall. Bends the elbows back in. Holy cannoli. Hang up those straps. That one gets me every time. Every time. Okay, let's grab your long box. Long box is on, centered on your carriage. We're gonna stay on the one medium spring. All right, so we're gonna come lying down on your stomach on the box. Your forehead will be in line with your foot bar. Just go ahead and rest your head in your hands, or your forehead in your hands, and just let your legs be heavy, let your body just kind of relax here. So with your legs, they're neither forced apart, neither together. They're just reaching long behind you. Now I want you to get the sensation of your tailbone reaching towards your knees and your pubic bone reaching into the box. Notice how that just kind of opens up your low back and maybe lifts your low belly up off the box. Or maybe it just feels lightened, right? Now keep the lightness of your low belly into the box. Could you try to lift your thighs up a little bit? And then hold here. If you're feeling this in your low back, you've gone too far. And then another thing you can do is just think of making your legs a little bit longer. And then just lower the legs back down. All right, let's try that again. Low belly lifts, pubic bone reaches into the box. We try to lift the thighs up off the box. So the movement's coming from your butt creases, from the back of your legs, and then lower the legs back down. Let's do that one more time. Tailbone stays long, low belly stays lifted. So we're hollowing out that low abdomen. We lift the legs, we hold, reach out through those big toes, hold, 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 and then lower back down. Okay, so I want you to take your hands wide onto the foot bar, thumbs with fingertips. Now I want you to get this sensation of kind of pulling the foot bar apart and feel how that can maybe create space between ears and shoulders and your neck and your shoulders. Now find the strong reach of the legs and the lift through the low belly. Press the carriage out to straight arms and hold here. Are the sides of your neck long, or have we gone up into our neck? And now we bend the elbows wide, bring the carriage in. So as you're going out and in here, still keep the lift up through the low belly and the legs reaching long. The legs don't have to be crazy high, they're just active. Okay, last one here. Press the carriage out and hold. There's a little bit more of a reach through the first and second knuckles than the rest of your fingers. I want you to push down into your palms and just lift your chest off the box and look forward. So when you lifted your chest off the box, did you push your low belly into the box, or is it still lighted, I almost said lighted and lifted, and then just lower the chest back down. Let's do that again. Just lift your chest up, pull apart on that bar, and then hold here. See if you can lift your chest up higher, but stay supported through your low belly. It is definitely like a whack-a-mole situation. And then lower back down. Last one like this. We lift the chest up. It should feel like your chest is reaching through your arms. Legs stay strong. And then lower back down. Now we're gonna try to lift up a little bit higher. So we lift the chest, find your upper back muscles, stay supported through your belly, and maybe you can lift up a little bit higher. Let the ribs come with you, let the belly come with you. And then we lengthen as we come all the way down. Once your head is in line with your spine, go ahead and bend the elbows wide, bring the carriage in, and then press it right back out. Keep the pull apart on the bar. Chest lifts first. So find your upper back, find the broad collarbones, and then maybe we can lift up higher, higher, higher. Legs stay strong. It's okay if they dip down, totally fine. And then think of almost rounding up and over something as you come all the way down. Bend the elbows wide. Press the carriage back out. Last one here. Chest lifts. Allow the ribs and the belly to lift with you as you come up. Tailbone stays long, y'all. And then as you start to press back out, nod your chin and think of rounding up and over something before you come down to the box. Bend your elbows wide, bring the carriage all the way in. Okay, let's drop your foot bar all the way down. Let's hop off. Same spring stays on for pull straps 1 and 2. Some teachers might call it pull straps or T-pull. So let's choke up a little bit, as high as you can go without moving the carriage. Now, I want you to just let your head fall down. Let your legs kind of drape over the box. My hands are to the outside of the carriage. Now, can you find the strong reach of your legs and that same position of your pelvis just like you did? Just like we did facing the other direction. So we stay lifted through the low belly. Now with strong straight arms, pull the arms down and back to your hips and hold. Lift your chest up just a hair, just to where it feels like you're in one long line. So your gaze stays down at your headrest, and then lower the arms down, let your chest fall down, but keep the legs active. Again, arms pulled down and back, and hold here. So just like we just did, could you lift your chest up a little bit, push the chest forward, keeping your low back nice and long, and then lower your chest back down into that long line. Arms come down and forward. Again, arms pulled down and back. Feel the punch out through the fist. And now lift the chest up, almost like they were going through the arms. And then we lower the chest back down. Arms come down, they reach forward. Only one more, because boy, oh boy, these are tough. Arms pulled down and back. Arms are razor straight. Chest is open. Lift the chest, push the chest forward, and then lower the chest down. Arms come all the way down. Whew, okay. Take your grip now all the way to the long loops. So we're getting a really good grip, not into the handles, but around both straps. Alrighty, head is hanging down, legs are active, tailbone is long, pubic bone is into the box. Arms are gonna go out to the high letter T. You are not in spring tension just yet. You are like barely there. Now, can all of you open up your wingspan a little bit more? Create a little bit more space in your neckline and in your upper back. Keeping your palms facing down to the floor. Pull the arms down and back towards your hips and hold. Now, just like we just did, can you lift the chest up and forward, rolling the chest open? Lower the chest back down. Arms lift back out to that high letter T. Only 2 more of these because they're brutal. Arms pull wide and back. Rotate your palms facing down to the floor. Stay lifted through the low belly. Push the chest forward, forward and up. Lower the chest. Lift the arms back out to that T. Woo, hello triceps. Pull them wide and back. Lift the chest. Push the chest forward. Think no wrinkles in the back of your neck, y'all. Lower all the way down. Arms lift. Back out to that T. Everything drapes over the box. Thank goodness that's over. Hang up your straps. Okay. So if you are over, or if you're 5'7" and over, I would say when you place or when you put your short box on, I want you to place it in between the blocks and the pegs. If you are under 5'7", place your short box in front of your shoulder box. Make sure it's all the way up against the shoulder box. Let's grab your dowel or your pole. Just place it up against your short box. And then let's place another spring on. So I have 2 medium springs on. That's 2 reds for balanced body. Have a seat on your box with your feet underneath your safety strap at the end of your reformer. So I want you to be seated close to the front edge. That way you have lots of space to rock back. Okay. So feet are strongly flexed and the feet are pulling apart onto the strap. So that way it's nice and taut. I want you to take your hands, like hand over hand, on your low belly here. So your elbows are wide and kind of forward. Notice how this is kind of that same position that we did when you were grabbing onto the end of the mat. Now, all I want you to do is just round yourself forward. As your head is coming forward, feel like your low belly is pulling away from your hands, and then just stack your spine up tall. Let's do that again. We round up and over. Think of there being opposition up through your chest as your head comes forward, and then stack your spine up tall. One more time. Up and over, and then stack back up. Okay, so now we're gonna roll back. So start to tilt your pelvis back. Think pubic bone to navel as you roll back, stretch back. You're trying to get that waistband of your pants into the box. Now, if you're like, girl, no, not today, then you just go to wherever you can. And then round yourself up and over. Think head to your knees as your chest lifts up. Roll yourself back again. Round back, think energy out through your heels, and then pause here. So without letting your chest move, could you tilt your pubic bone back to your navel a little bit more? Yes. And then round yourself up and over, stretch forward. Again, roll yourself back. Think of pelvis rolling away from your thighs. Neckline is still long, and then round up and over, round forward, stretch forward. Okay, so let's do another variation here. I want you to take your hands on the side of the box, and hopefully there's handles there, so I want you to grab onto the handles. If not, you can maybe grab onto the corners. Now, holding onto the sides of the box, I want you to feel like you're hugging in, okay? Like it's a big ol', I don't know, you know what I mean, right? We're hugging in on the box. Now from here, same thing. Pelvis tilts back, we roll back, and pause here. So you're looking down the front body. Can you press in on the box a little bit more? So again, elbows are nice and wide. And then round up and over, head to your knees. Keep hugging in on the box. Again, we roll back, stretch back, keep pressing in on the box, keep pulling back through your upper abdomen, and then round up and over, Last one like this. Think really broad upper back, tilt your pubic bone to your navel, and then round up and over. All right, now let's grab onto that pole. Wide on your dowel. So I say wide on your dowel, but it's about shoulder width distance apart. So thumbs are under, fingertips are on top. Just reach your hands or reach the bar down towards your knees. You're sitting up tall. Okay, so just like that long imprint that we did in the beginning in that seated rowing, can you find the rib connection to that imaginary mat behind you? And maybe you could feel like your whole back was like going into that imaginary mat as well. Lots of words today. Okay, so keep that long imprint, and now just lift the arms up to wherever you can, and then lower the arms back down. We lift the arms with no change in your spine, and then lower the arms back down. This movement is your arms and straps that we did in the very beginning. As you're doing this up and down, can you also pull apart on the on the pole? And maybe you feel a little bit more through the arms, a little bit more through the shoulders. A couple more times here. Can you also create as much space between your fists and your chest as you possibly can? Just layering everything on. Okay, now I want you to bring your arms to where you feel like you're not in your neck. You can hold your spine stable, and you've got a good grip on the bar. You're gonna keep the shape of your spine, and now hinge back, and then lift yourself right back up. Your legs are very active. Keep the distance between fist and chest, hinge back, keep pushing the bar away, and then lift yourself right back up. A couple more times like this. Sides of the neck are long, pull the bar apart, and then lift right back up. If you're feeling this in your back, maybe round a little bit. Hinge back, go back, and then lift all the way up. Now, could you lift the arms up to where you're framing your beautiful face? Now, think of keeping the space between your ears and your arms the same as we side bend over to the right and then lift up through center. We side bend over to the left. Again, keep your ribs into your back and then lift back up. Again, up and over. Weight in your hip stays the same.
and then we lift back up. Last one like this, up and over, and then come back up. Okay, so go ahead and lower the arms back down to where they're right in front of your chest. We keep the pull apart on the bar, and now we twist our upper body to the right, keeping the bar directly in front of your chest, and then come back to center. We lift and twist to the left, keep pushing the bar away from your chest, and then back to center. Again, lift and twist, no shift in your legs, no shift in the hips, and then back to center. Again, lift and twist to the left, and back to center. Last one like this, or sorry, last two. And back to center. Last one. How are those arms feeling? Keep pushing the bar away, keep pushing the bar away, and to center, and go ahead and lower the arms down, shake it out. All right, so let's now take your right foot out, leave your left foot under the strap. Okay, so trust yourself, trust the equipment here. I want you to now take your dowel and place it around the ball of your foot. So balls of your feet, maybe your arch, you might have to like kind of play around with this position. So for my tight people, this one is for you, okay? So you're gonna hold on to this bar for dear life. We're gonna try to sit up as tall as we possibly can. And now, can you straighten the leg out, still keeping the lift of your waist, and then bend the knee, foot comes back in. Push the bar away as your chest goes back, but the crown of the head goes up, and then we bend the knee. Again, so it's kind of that same thing we did just now, that like lift and lower of the arms, only now we're just adding the big stretch of the leg into this. Now, stretch the leg out to wherever you can. Can you lean forward a little bit more and think of pulling your belly and your ribs away from that right thigh? Now, keep your leg exactly where it's at, but can you bring your chest towards your shin? Just imagine, right? So as your chest comes forward, keep the opposition back through your belly. Now, can you take this shape and maybe rock back a little bit? Keep your left foot flexed. We're just going back to a point where you feel safe, but also a deeper stretch. And then we rock ourselves up. Keep pushing the foot into the bar big time. And then we rock back. Hello, grip strength. It's really being tested right now. Rock back. And then we rock up. Push the leg forward, 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 forward. Last one here. It's a big stretch. Again, keep pulling your belly away from that right thigh. And then we rock up, stretch forward, stretch forward. Awesome. Let's take the ankle over the knee, shake out the grip, and just get a quick figure 4 stretch here. Okay, let's switch sides. Alrighty, so bar around the foot. Oof. Now, if this is not accessible for you, if you're like, this is impossible, you can always grab onto your leg, okay? You can always grab onto your leg, the back of the leg, and do the same thing. So we're sitting up as tall as we possibly can. You're trying to get equal weight down through both hips or both butt cheeks. And now can you straighten the leg out? We do what we can, and then bend the knee back in. So it almost feels like your back is up against a wall and your knuckles are scraping across the wall in front of you. Whoo. Tell you what, I really need this stretch. A couple more here. Feel the opposition back through the ribs and the belly. Okay, now we straighten the leg out as best you can. Keep pushing the leg away, and now keep the leg still as we try to bring our chest forward. Bend the elbows if you need to. And now take the shape, and then we rock back. Keep pushing that heel up to the sky. Up, and then we rock ourselves back up. Round forward, stretch forward. We rock back. Let that right foot catch, and then we rock back up. As you're rounding forward, maybe think of like shifting your upper body to the right just a hair. Just see if that changes the stretch for you. And then we rock back. Keep trying to push that leg away from your low belly. And then we rock back up. Whew.
Hopefully you're in parallel with that left leg. Last one here. Hello, grip strength. Holding on for dear life right now. Oh, it's a good stretch though. Carefully rock back up, rock back up. Okay, we take that dowel out. You can unhook the other foot and then find this final figure 4 stretch, ankle over the knee. Y'all, we are done. That is all I have for you today. I say that is all, but I definitely felt a lot of things today. Slowing things down, I feel like always makes it so much harder, right? So let me know what you thought of this session. Let me know any struggles, any wins, just all the things. Let's chat about it, and I hope to see you again. Thanks, y'all.